I can't wait to read this book. It's already getting a lot of buzz on social media, and I think it's going to be popular. I hope it's going to be popular. I really hope it's going to be good. I have high hopes. Hello, Tandem fandom. My name is Alexis, and welcome to the Tandem Collective, where you can find the latest book recommendations, news, and releases from Team Tandem. In this video, I'm going to be going through my 5 and 5 upcoming fantasy releases that I am really excited about. I can't wait to read. Now, in order to choose books for this video, I decided that I was going to focus on titles that are coming out in the next couple of months, so mostly April and May, and then I have one in August that I could not resist adding in. And I also decided that all of these books would either be standalones or they would be the first in a series. So while there are a bunch of sequels that I am looking forward to in 2024, these all don't require you to read their predecessors, to read book 1 or books 1 and 2 before you read this upcoming release. These are all books that you can pick up fresh off the bookshelves or on your Kindle with no prior reading necessary. So without further ado, let us jump right in, and I'm going to start with To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang. Now, if you're familiar with this book, you might notice that this is not the hardback cover. This is a proof that I got in August, and this is what the cover looks like. You can also see I got this proof at Bookfest in August, and Molly was there and signed this. To Alexis, mortal laws don't apply to gods, which I love. I love when an author leaves like a little extra line when they sign a book. But this is Molly's debut novel. It is a YA fantasy, and in this world, the Romans occupy the land, which is inspired, I believe, by Molly's upbringing in Manchuria. And also it's inspired by the ghost stories that her grandfather told her as a child. The protagonist in this book, her name is Ru Ying, and she is said to be blessed by death. So I assume that means she has some kind of powers that make killing really easy for her. And this is discovered by the second Roman prince, Antony, the second Roman prince, and he uses her to assassinate his enemies. Otherwise, her family will be in danger. So it's described as Red Queen meets These Violent Delights meets Iron Widow. And it also has really positive reviews from Cassandra Clare, Jiren J. Zhao, and Rebecca Ross, author of Divine Rivals. So I'm really intrigued by this book. It's a mix of science and magic, I've heard, and just the idea of an alternate history where the Roman Empire is still alive and thriving and quite destructive. So that's To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, and it comes out on the 18th of April. The next upcoming release I'm excited about has been buzzing around social media channels ever since it was announced a few months ago, and that is The Familiars by much beloved fantasy author Leigh Bardugo, who has written the Shadow and Bone trilogy, the Six of Crows duology, as well as the Ninth House series, which is more dark academia. So The Familiars is something completely different, it seems, from what Leigh Bardugo has written before, because it takes place in Spain's golden age during the Inquisition. It's described as a dark fantasy and a romance, so a dark romantasy, I suppose, and is about Luisa, who has some magical powers, and when they are discovered, she has to enter the court, because I guess the court sees people with powers as of value. But she is trying to hide her ancestry. It's during the Inquisition, so I'm wondering if there are some Jewish aspects to this. And like To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, it is a blend of science, magic, and in The Familiars, they say fraud. So I really think this is going to be an interesting read because the story takes place in an actual historical time period from our world in the Spanish Golden Age. But it has these elements of magic and mysticism that she has woven into it, which is quite different, I think, than what she's done before in Shadow and Bone. Of course, it was also inspired by Imperial Russia, but that was very much its own world, its own land, its own country, where this is set in Spain in an age that we're familiar with, the Golden Age. So that is The Familiar on the 9th of April. That segues perfectly into my next fantasy release that I'm excited about, which is described as if you liked Shadow and Bone but wanted something darker, deeper, and sexier. And that is The Sins on Their Bones by Laura R. Samatin. This is a debut which is inspired by Jewish mysticism and 19th century Russia. And it follows Dmitri, who was the Tsar of his country, but was exiled by his husband, Alexis, who usurped the throne. Evidently, Alexis was dead and brought back to life, and then, I guess, usurped the throne from his husband. So now his husband, Dmitri, is in exile and plotting with his spy master, Vasily, on how they can infiltrate Alexis' new court. I mean, need I say more? That there's like already so much packed in there. It's dark, it's queer. I like that it takes place after the events of this usurping, and so Dmitri is sort of dealing with that and the fact that not only was he usurped, but it was his husband that did it. It also apparently deals with sexual trauma, so definitely look up the content warnings for this book if that is something you normally do. And again, it definitely seems to be an adult fantasy and has darker themes and apparently is quite sexy. So I can't wait to read this book. It's already getting a lot of buzz on social media, and I think it's going to be popular. I hope it's going to be popular. I really hope it's going to be good. I have high hopes. So The Sins on Their Bones is coming out on the 6th of May, so not long to go. The next upcoming fantasy release on my list I heard about because I follow Red Tower Books on Instagram. They are the US publisher of Fourth Wing, so I follow them, and they've been promoting this book a lot, and it is 5 Broken Blades by May Corland. It's coming out on the 7th of May, and it is also a debut, and I'm realizing now that, 4 out of the 5 of the books on this list are author debuts, which is quite exciting. 5 Broken Blades, the premise is that 5 assassins have been hired to kill a god king June. They're all gunning for him. Literally. It's quite a heisty book. They all have to work together to kill this god king, but they don't trust each other. They have all got their personal motives for killing this god king, and they're all described as morally gray. So morally gray times 5. It's got multiple point of views, I think one from each of the 5 assassins. So if you enjoy multiple point of view books, if you enjoy morally gray characters, and apparently there are also multiple romances. So this book seems to just keep on giving and giving. It's the first in a trilogy, and it's gotten excellent reviews so far from proofreaders. And again, 7th of May it comes out, and it's one of the highest ones on my TBR at the moment. The final upcoming fantasy release that I have for you today is a little bit further afield. It doesn't come out until the 15th of August, but I am so excited about it. I couldn't resist putting it on this list. And it is called The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. This is a YA fantasy debut, and it follows Aaliyah, who works at a zoo and is a phoenix keeper because this is a magical zoo full of mystical creatures such as water horses, dragons, unicorns, kelpies, thunderhawks, and the like. In this book, the neighboring zoo to Aaliyah's zoo, they are targeted by poachers and unfortunately lose their phoenix population. So Aaliyah campaigns to take over the phoenix breeding program at her own zoo. She has to get the patrons to care about this cause and about this conservation. And she also has to contend with her ex-academic rival, Luciana, who is a griffin keeper. As you can imagine, this rivalry and tension is very likely to blossom into something more in this book. And what I really enjoy about this premise is that replace the magical creatures with regular our world creatures, animals, zoo animals, words, and you could have the same type of story. I love zoos. I try to go to as many zoos as I can when I'm traveling and watch a lot of zoo TV programming. So as soon as I saw this book, it was on my TBR and jumped way up. I can't wait until it comes out in August. I'd love to get an advanced reader copy of this. It just seems to have really like heartwarming, sapphic, beautiful like bonds with magical creature vibes. I mean, what more do you want in a YA fantasy book, really? Okay, I'm going to stop gushing about that now. I haven't even read it and I'm gushing about it. I'm going to bookend it there for today. That is my 5 in 5 upcoming fantasy releases. Let me know in the comments if any of these are on your TBR or which one you are the most excited for. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. What upcoming fantasy releases are you the most excited about? I would love to know, so let me know in the comments. As always, you can sign up for Tandem's newsletter to get the latest creator opportunities straight to your inbox by going to the link at the bottom of this video description. And you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.